Hi there and welcome to this episode. We'll be looking at two photos taken at the same location at different angles and comparing them to see what's the strengths of these photos and what can be made better. These are photos that I took, but I'd be very happy to look at and give advice about your photos. Just send me a DM to my Instagram and I'll leave a link to that in my comments below. So we're going to start off with this photo here, and I'm purposely not showing the other one because the other one is a little bit more obvious what we're taking a photo of, and I really like taking photos that make the person think and see the world in a different way. So looking at this photo, and I'm hoping maybe that's not so obvious what we're taking a picture of, I think we can tell that from the windows here and these lights that we're viewing a ceiling. But where are we and what type of ceiling, so that's a little bit, still, there's something you have to think about. In any case, by taking a photo of something that we're not sure of and abstracting it in this way, we can really focus on the shapes and the overall composition. One thing I also enjoy taking photos of are patterns and repetition, and we have a lot of that over here. We have these patterns going on here in this set of windows, all these repetition of shapes here, and then we have these swirls coming back and forth. We have both positive and negative shapes as well. We have like these large area over here, followed by we'll say a negative darker shape, followed by light and dark. So it's a very nice pattern going on of alternating lights and darks. There's also a very nice thrust going on here where this top part almost looks like an arrow, and the way that it grows from the bottom to the top also helps out. There's really a lot of nice movement here, which is one of the reasons I took this photo, in fact. So what I'd like to do first, though, is maybe increase the contrast just a little bit to give it a little more punch, okay, and maybe make it a little bit brighter. Bring down the highlights, though, maybe. So something like this. Let's see before and after. That was before and after, so it's a little bit better like that. Now, as far as technically things that I think that could be potentially a little bit better, so first off, we have on the bottom right over here this area of this dark area, which draws my eye a little bit too much. I'm not so concerned about the arc in the center because that sort of mirrors the shapes that are going on above it. But on this right side, even though there is on the left side this area over here, and it could say it's mirroring that shape, but over here it's very subtle and gentle. But on this side it stands out a little bit too much for me. So I'd like to go and fix that. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to go and remove that. Right? We're going to remove. So let's see what happens over here. I'll just paint it in, and that looks really good. Actually, let's see if I can get a little bit of. Will it bring that in for me? No, not so much. So So I think looks really good. Okay, so that's one thing down. Another element that bothers me is if we focus in here and zoom in, we can see we've got a balloon here. Is it giving anyone a clue where we might be? Why is there a balloon in the window over here? Anyway, so let's go and try to clean this part up also. Same tool and see how that does. No, let's try again. Okay, let's try one more time here. Make the brush a little bit smaller. Maybe you can capture like this. Come into the side here. There we are. That's looking pretty good. Maybe we can get rid of the shadow here since there's no more shadow. Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, and so now we have a picture that looks like this. And the only other thing that I think I would want to change here is on the top right, this little dot here. Again, because even though it does make sense here in reality, but I just don't like it. Let's try to make that a little better. Let's see. There we are. I just feel it's distracting, draws the eye. There's nothing parallel matching over here. So there's those dots or anything like that. So here we are. Hey, what happened to my picture? What happened down here? Let's go fix that again. Maybe I don't know what happened there. 1 second. Whoop-a-doo. Very nice. Okay, here we are. So, here's our picture. It's great. So here's before and after, right? Small things, but the small things make a big difference. Okay, So now, are you ready to see, do you have any idea where we are? In the next picture, it might become a little bit more obvious. Here we are. So we're actually in a mall, right? And that was the ceiling of the mall. For this photo, I decided to switch things up a little bit and give more of an arcing angle. So if you bring up the two photos side by side, you'll see there's a big contrast between the way the shapes are, right? In the left one, which is where we started off with, it's really just a vertical motion from, we'll say, down to up, I can imagine, because this arrow is sort of leading you, everything's leading from down to up. But there's one on the right side that we haven't really gone into just yet, but this one has more of an arc going on here. We're starting at the bottom, and then it pulls you around, and the arrow leads you up to the top left. So we have this arc going on here. So let's just focus on that one, and let's just see what I like about this. Let's talk about what I like about it first, is that it has a lot more visual interest things going on here, right? We have a setting. So we've lost the idea of this abstraction and getting the person to think about where they are. Here, it's more of appreciating the patterns and the shapes of that ceiling in relation to what's going on below, right? So we have a lot of hustle and bustle of the people down here. We have a few of these solid columns here, but for the most part, it's just a smattering of a lot of active small shapes. And then the majority of the image, this upper area, is this sweeping, mammoth structure. I mean, it doesn't even look like a individual windows and ceilings to me. I see it as a one huge, beast. It almost reminds me of the Natural Museum of History, I think it was. There's a whale in one of the rooms that just takes up the entire room, and it's just so impressive. And so that's the sort of feeling I get from over here. However, there is still room to improve this photo, and what we're going to do is do that right now. So first off, I am going to change the rotation, because it's not really oriented correctly. See, these pillars are way off here and everything. So let's just go and rotate this a little bit. I don't want to get it perfectly straight because we do have this barreling effect going on here. So both sides, you see on the left side here, this wall also comes in an angle. So we're trying to keep them a little bit parallel. The angles coming in at the same level of distortion, right? So we have this over here, and so now this is much a straighter picture. We still do retain, I'm very happy that we retain this white area on the left, because that helps define the triangle shape, which helps us with this whole movement, right? If we were to take that out for whatever reason, like this, so you see, it's lost a bit of the dramatic effect. So this is, I think, a little bit better. Other than that, we have our balloon over here. But in this picture, with so much going on, it doesn't really bother me. However, I do want to get rid of this little dot on the top right. So we're just going to do that right now. Voila. Okay. So also from here, let's just do a few edits. Let's see if Lightroom will suggest. Not doing much there. Let's go manually edit some things here. So I want to bring up the exposure. I'll bring up the exposure, right? And maybe the highlights down a little bit, but then I want to bring those blacks down more and the shadows up a little, just a touch, right? And so now we have from here, again, we have a more dynamic range and contrast between the lights and darks, which really helps give a little bit more oomph to the photo. So I'm not really liking that. So if we compare the two photos side by side, these two variations of the same scene. And if you've enjoyed this photo critique, then check out my book, Composition Techniques to Create Compelling Photos. Chock full of examples and practical exercises, you'll learn how you can take your photography from good to great. It's available both as a paperback and digital download on Amazon. I'll leave links in the description below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments and seeing you in another video.